my name's Marcy. Welcome to my channel, Amnicon Studio. If you are new here, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. It's nice to have you here. All right, so it's been a little bit longer than I thought it would be from the last time I recorded. That kind of seems to be the story of a lot of our lives lately, especially during this time of year. Just busy days, time's getting away. Every time I thought I was going to record, something came up or the weather was bad, and I depend a lot on the natural light for when I do these videos. I've got a slightly different setup here out in the she shed. Sorry, thought I heard something. So things might not look different to you, but they look different to me. What else? I've got show notes. I wrote these show notes a little bit ago, and over the course of time, things have changed. So they're maybe not as precise and in order as I'd like them to be. And I think when I first started writing them down, I had about half the stuff that I wanted to share as I have now to share. Does that make sense? It's all sitting here in a basket and kind of stirring about. I'll post a picture so you can see. I'm sure it's no different than anyone else who records these videos. So let me take a deep breath and we shall get started. All right, since the last time I recorded, I wanted to say that I got something in the mail. I won a giveaway over at the Crafty Cat Stitchers floss tube. Kathy was giving away a few kits and charts, and I won one of them, and I wanted to share. I think I posted it over on social media, so it's been a minute. I feel like such a goober right now, but I won Tall Trios, Boo Tall Trios. And it's the full kit. Got the fabric, floss, little charm. I think there might even be a needle in there. I haven't even opened it up yet. Oh, show that. And I want to apologize in case you hear any gunshots in the background. I live in the country. My neighbors are apparently starting to sight in their rifles. And I don't know how well that's going to come up. I did try using the microphone, but because I know that'll pull out or won't pick up a lot of ambient sounds. But I didn't like the way I was sounding. And I don't know if that is just how microphones are or it's this microphone. Because I thought it sounded kind of tinny, not very rich and lifelike, if that makes any sense. So if anybody who uses microphones has a microphone to recommend, please drop it in the comments. Thank you. Anyways, I wanted to say thank you to Kathy for having the giveaway. She also sent me a really sweet card. I have a lot to share today. I think I said that already. I'm recording on my lunch hour again, which is usually when I record. So I feel like I have so much I want to say and share and not a lot of time to do it. So of course this may be a long one and may run longer than I think it will because I'm just blathering away. Anyways, I've got cross stitch, a little bit of knitting, a whole bunch of crochet, and I'm going to try to keep them in everything together, so I'm not kind of jumping from cross stitch to crochet, back to cross stitch, down to knitting. Yeah, I'm trying. All right, cross stitch, finished objects. I've been a busy little girl with finishing, cross stitching and finishing. The first thing I want to share is something that I decided to stitch up from the most recent Just Cross Stitch Halloween 2025 magazine. Hold on, let me grab it. It was this one. I don't know if I still have it marked here. Oh, I do. Okay. It was Little Mushroom Ghost. And this was kind of a start along that I did with Ashley and Jeanne over at We Stitch and We Know Things. I think I was the first one done. So they've had a bunch of stuff come up and they're focusing on other projects that must get done, I think. So I started this. It is designed by Laura Remola of The Little Stitcher. Beginner, 64 high by 38 wide. DMC. I used DMC. I gotta grab my card. See, I'm just kind of flustered. Okay. Nope, that's not even the right card. Darn it. That is for something else. Anyways, I had Mystery Lugana 28 count that I coffee dyed because I thought the fabric was too light, and I tried to, well, as best I can, I tried to match up what I thought the called for fabric looked like. Okay, I started it September 8th. I'm sorry, I don't know when I finished it. It was a fairly quick stitch. Oh no, I was wrong. 25 Lugana. Anyways, here we are. All done. I decided to finish it in I think this is a 6-inch hoop. I painted the hoop itself. I enjoyed it for Halloween. And okay, that's what my backing looks like. Nothing fancy. But I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I had something else laying on it in my bucket. That's why there's that little line. All right, that's the first thing. The second thing I don't have with me because I decided to make it as a Christmas gift for a friend, and it is already been sent off to her. So I'll post a picture. I'm pretty sure I took a picture of it, and I'll put it up there. But I made Hope is the Thing with Feathers. And this is by, Mojo Stitches. This is the Autumn 2025 Just Cross Stitch magazine. Mystery Ada I used, white 16 count. Floss was DMC. Now, if I had my book of days, I probably would have the finish date on it. This is another piece that did not take long to stitch up. I had some issues, but it was my fault because I miscounted when I was stitching. I decided to do I started out here first, and then I worked out and made the birds. Made that part, and then made the border. I ended up finishing it into a picture frame that I had in my collection for finishing stuff, I guess you'd say. And I think it turned out really well. I thought the frame matched the project nicely because this is based on a vintage antique baby item. And at any time, I will have the picture up here so you can see it. So there's that one. Oh, yes. Next thing that I want to share is my Red Panda by Lindy Stitches. This is part of the Lindy Stitches Endangered Species Club from 2024. I'm trying to use my brain rather than looking at, what I wrote down. I started it on July 4th, 2025. I finished it October 20th, 2025. Fabric is 16 count Ada ivory color from Hobby Lobby. Floss used was mostly DMC with a few fancy flosses. And here it is, all done. Now, I think I mentioned in the previous video that I did something up here, made an unintentional change, and I just made it work, and it looks pretty fabulous. I plan on finishing it. If you heard that, that was the chickens running across the yard. I plan on finishing it in a picture frame and sticking it up on the wall. So that one's done. I don't know which one I will start up next. The next item, I'm sorry, I cracked myself up. The next piece that I finished is something that I purchased earlier in the year from Miss AZ Zoo on Etsy.com. Links to her Etsy site will be in the show notes as well. It is called Rescued is My Favorite Breed. I don't have a picture to show. I started this October 31st and completed it on November 2nd. I did share this one on my Instagram if you follow me, which if you don't, here's my Instagram handle. I forgot to include that in the beginning. And also I blog at amniconstudio.blogspot.com. Will also be in the show notes and right here. Anyways, Rescue is My Favorite Breed. Quick stitch. This one I am making as a gift for someone who I'm not going to say, just on the very slim chance they actually watch my videos. I don't think they do, but just in case. I'm not sure how I'm going to finish it though. I thought about putting it in a frame. I thought about making it a pillow. I thought about trying my hand at making it a flat fold. One of my friends suggested that I could put it on a tote bag. All very good ideas. I'm not sure which way to go. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. This one, very quick stitch. I recommend going and checking her out. All the proceeds from all her sales go to support the Forever Home Sanctuary she runs. All right, my next item is an FFO, fully finished object. This is a project that I started last year. You may remember. I don't have the magazine with me to show you what the full piece is, so I'll have to stick a photo here. It's called the Black Cat Sampler. I started it early October 2024. I either decided to call it or I realized my error. But the date I have as finished is October 31st, 2024. It is by Nancy Waller of Faithworks Designs, DMC floss, 14 count Ada spa color, I think. Now the story behind this is I started stitching the sampler and I thought I had measured the fabric correctly, but turned out I did not. I have no idea what happened because I was so far off, it wasn't even funny. So I decided to kind of cut it at a certain point and figured I would either put it in a frame later on or something else. And I decided to make it a pillow. Nothing fancy, but I think it turned out very darling. So I got to enjoy this one for Halloween too. And the finishing fabric, like I said, nothing fancy. Just sewed it around, hand stitched it at the bottom. I'm getting really good at closing these pillows by hand. So there's that. I also wanted to mention that if you want to hear more about that piece, I spoke about it last on episode 24, and I don't know what episode this is, but you know, it's a little bit ago. The other FFO that I have is my White Christmas 2022 ornaments by Primrose Cottage Stitches. My notes say I started these December 2nd, 2023. I finished them sometime in July 2025, the stitching part, but I didn't actually fully finish them until last month. Fabric was 14 count Aida opalescent, DMC floss, called for colors, and I finished them in little embroidery hoops. And my first time trying to put bows on that I made myself. I picked the fabric for the ornaments out myself. I went with something pretty and kind of opalescent to hopefully match the fabric here. Oh, this one's a little wonky. I started out thinking that I could sew them on. I realized very quickly that that probably wasn't a very good idea. So I ended up sewing the bows on, not sewing, gluing the bows on with tacky glue, I think it was. So there's that, and I can't wait to hang them on the tree this year. I have 2 active cross-stitch whips right now. I decided, well, kind of a funny story, kind of not. I thought I'm not going to work on any more cross-stitch or start any more cross-stitch until I record. And then, you know how it goes. Things didn't go the way I thought they would, and I thought, you know, I really want to start something new. So I have one new start. First, put that, I told you, it's a mess over here. First thing I want to share is the piece that I'm working on in a sal with, well, I remember, Holly of Hobbies of Holly, Sarah at Sarah's Stitchy Spot, I think it's Judy Stitching Bunny, and another gal named Marcy, who, as far as I know, doesn't have any social media presence. It is a daily reminder. I started it on June 25th. It's a birthday sal. It's by Brenda Gervais. I purchased it at Farm Girl Dry Goods. Fabric is Stash Aida that I hand dyed brown, splashes of green. The DMC I'm using is my own conversion. And let's see if this is so big. Not really. I think the last time I shared, I maybe had not done this part. So you can see that I've started the fence, some of the flowers, and the start of the house. A couple episodes ago, I shared why I chose the colors I did. Like the yellow I chose because it looks like a flower that grows in the ditches on the side of the road. Went with white. Try to go with a nice green that kind of stood out over the green here. That's why this is different from this green and this green. This is more of like a red, brickish red that I thought was a good color for a basket. Red for roses, I guess you could say. And the house will be a color that I feel matches the color of my house rather than going with the color that it was in the photo, which I just realized that I didn't share that. Let me make sure I have it first. All right, here's the picture of the design. And let's see. Yeah, so mine is going to be more of like a brick red color. I think Holly, I think, shared her progress on her most recent floss tube video, and hers looks really nice. It looks like she went with the called for fabric, and now that I'm seeing somebody work on it with the called for fabric, I like it. In the picture, I wasn't so sure, and that's why I decided to go with the color of my own. And also that I could very clearly see this on a brown fabric rather than whatever color this is supposed to be. But in person on someone else's floss tube, I really like how it looks. Next project is my new start that I started on November 5th. And I'll tell you, the reason why I started it is because I got tired of crocheting. And to God. I crocheted a lot in the last month or so. And I just needed a break. Okay, so the new start started November 5th. I saw this originally over on Catherine Stitching Chronicles. She decided to stitch this on a t-shirt, and I decided I liked what she did and how it looked, but I wanted to do black shirt because I thought the colors would pop out more. Did I save the name? If I didn't, it's Neon Cicada. Really bright colors. This was designed by Bad Stitch on Etsy. And I can't get over these colors. I love these colors so much. They are so bright. Anyways, this is what I have so far. And I'll have a picture of the product, of the finished design over here. But yeah, I love it. I think it's turning out great. I love the color gradation on it. My first time stitching on fabric, I'm using 3 strands of DMC because I thought the 2 strands didn't look right. I wasn't sure if you're supposed to use 6 strands or not. But I think the coverage with 3 strands is pretty good. When I showed it to my husband, and I said, "Look what I'm doing." He said, "Oh, you're stitching a squid." I said, "No," because I didn't have this part showing or this part. It was just this right here. I said, "Nope, it's going to be a cicada." And I probably said cicada wrong too. But yeah, very happy. Next is my knitting. First thing I want to share with you is my vanilla sock. I finished the first sock out of the pair that I'm working on. Knit Picks Felice yarn in the Buddy colorway. I started these September 9th. Trying to get it. I remembered the sock blocker and I'm trying to get it on there all nice and pretty. here we go. And once again, I'm sure I mentioned it in the last one, I've got that skinny little stripe right around the foot because that's where I finished up the heel and then picked up and started working around. It's the first one done. I'm real happy with it. I knit it on the little itty bitty 9-inch circular because I'm crazy and apparently don't mind working on that size needle for socks. I don't like them for the ribbing. So when I started on the second sock, I did this part on 2 circular needles, and then I've just slowly been working on this part in the mornings and when we go to town and my husband's driving. So I've probably got, close to 30 stitches or 30 rows on that so far. So I'm making slow progress. Maybe I'll have it done by the end of the year. And then I've got, thinking here, even though I've got my notes, I have to think. All right. I am making Christmas gifts this year. It's been a very long time since I made the decision to make gifts for almost everything that I'm giving away this year. And this year I decided that I was going to make mittens. I used the pattern from Tin Can Knits, which I think is called the World's Simplest Mittens. And here, I'm not sure if I have the label with me, but the yarn is bulky. It came from Hobby Lobby. I'll have the colorway in the show notes. I made these, I started November 3rd. Finished November 8th, and they're mittens. I don't know what else to say about them. They're mittens. They're cozy, and the person that I plan on giving them to, I know she's gonna love them because obviously they're going to a girl. And then I decided for another person that I was going to make a set of mittens and a hat. So the hat, whoops, here is the hat. I think it took me over the course of 3 evenings to make this hat. It's called Captain Tracy's Watch Cap by LittleYeti. This is my first time doing a decrease and finish like this, where, I'm not sure how well I show, it's lines, like, so it's like a X coming down, or a bullseye, depending on how you look at it. It's yarn is Hobby Lobby too. I thought I had the label for it. I have no idea where it went. But the yarn's real cozy. Let's see, my hair is up, so this isn't gonna look so great. And the matching mitten I started last night. I think I've got 3.5 more inches before I can start decreasing for the top, and then I can make the thumb. I am knitting these on, it starts out with US size 6 here, up here is US size 8, magic looping them. I never used to be a magic looper until I started making these mittens, because I didn't want to make them with DPNs, and I don't have shorter circular needles in the size that would work for this, so magic loop. When I first started knitting and I heard about magic loop, I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated than it is, but now that I've discovered the ease of it, I really like it. And of course, I like the fact that I don't have to buy other extra knitting needles. Although I have in the past, because I have more than one set of interchangeable knitting needles, I have used the needles from 2 different sets. But I don't like to do that because it also kind of makes the gauge a little wonky. If you're using metal versus wood, because the other one I was using was bamboo, and you grab onto things tighter or looser depending on what you're using. So there's that. That is it for the knitting. Crochet. I said I'd done a lot of crochet this last month and a half or so. And I didn't realize how much crochet I had done until I took the time to start writing things down and went, whoa, it's a lot. That explains why my wrists hurt. But it, you know, sometimes you see something and you want to make it, and it's in crochet. I'm not a crocheter by trade, even though I've been crocheting for probably 15 years. I still consider myself a beginner because I can't read the patterns as well as I would like. They're kind of Greek to me. And the nice thing about YouTube now and some of the crochet designers is they'll put the pattern up on their blog or for sale up on Etsy, but they'll include a video. And the first thing, I'm very grateful that she made a video, because I don't know that I would have understood the directions without being able to see the stitch pattern. Again, this is something that I made and I've already given as a gift. It's called Harvest Table Runner. I started it October 1st. I completed it October 10th. I'll have some photo here. Because it was a table runner, I don't know if I took the greatest pictures of it, because I'm you know, I don't know how to take pictures of table runners. I was trying to show the stitch. I'm not sure how well that went. I just took the pictures and I didn't look at them. The designer is Sarah Satch, I think is how she pronounces her name. The pattern is over at poshpoochdesigns.blogspot.com. The yarn I used was Red Heart White with some stellina running through it, so there's a little bit of sparkle. The person that I gave this item to said she loved it and she had never seen anything like it before. So there you go. The next thing I made was actually 2 things, and I didn't bring something out here with to help show them off to the best advantage. Was water bottle cozies. I started well, I made them basically like one evening and the other one the next evening. Yeah. The pattern is by Ninja Bunny Crochet. I used Stash dishcloth yarn. And here was my first one, because I just grabbed yarn out of the container and it was kind of like a practice thing. I don't know, she might have had a tutorial. I mean, but it's a really simple pattern. It's half crochets, I think, once you get past that. And it comes with the strap. I made the strap the length pattern, and because I ran out of yarn to make this part, I came out here at night, so I didn't see the colors too well, and I didn't realize until I put this on that it was a different color. But I don't care. It's for me. It's nothing fancy. It's, you know, to carry my water bottle. And then I decided once I had that figured out, I would make another one that was more colorful. And so I made this one. two different yarns. One that was just solid purple, and then this yarn was one that was striped that I'd picked up who knows when and never really figured out a design for it. And then I used the purple again and made the strap out of the purple. Yeah, that's the thing with the yarn like this. It always looks so pretty in the skein or the ball to me, and then if I start working with it, it doesn't look as pretty to me. Either the colors are not long enough, usually is what it is. Yeah, so there's those ones. I just noticed in my notes there was another item that I made that I forgot to bring out here, so I'll just put a picture here. But it's called a Crooked Coffee Cup Cozy Pattern by, I'm not sure how that is gonna say, Umbaka Design Crochet. And like I said, the links to the stuff will be in the show notes. But that one was a quick stitch. I think I stitched it in one afternoon. It really wasn't difficult. I think the hardest part for me was deciding how to stitch the two ends together. And then another thing that I see that I did not bring out here, because that seems to be the thing, was a preemie octopus. I started it September 24th. I completed it September 25th. I'll have a photo here. I have a photo of it on my Instagram account, and yeah. The yarn was Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn, Sugar Plum Stripe. Hook size I used was 3.5 millimeter. I don't remember if that's the called for size, but that is the size I have decided that works for me the best for making these little octopuses. A link for the pattern will be in the show notes. I like making those. They're a good baby gift, and the reason why I made that one is because my my dental hygienist is a very sweet gal. She had a baby about this time last year, actually, I think, baby girl. And so the next time that I had seen her, she was back to work, and I made her a little octopus for her baby girl. And apparently that little baby octopus is such a hit with her baby girl and her older girl that they're kind of fighting over it. And I said I would make her older daughter one, so they wouldn't have to fight over them. And I keep meaning to swing by and dropping it off, but every time I go to town I forget about it. So she's probably not going to get it until I go back there in January, which I feel kind of bad about, but you know, what can you do? All right, I gotta pause the video again to grab the next thing. All right, the next thing, well, I made two of the next pattern I'm going to share, and that is the Suzette scarf, which is designed by Hooked by Robin. I started, I started the first one October 11th, and I finished it October 13th. The yarn I did write down, which is Hobby Lobby Plum Garden. I used a 9mm crochet hook. I gotta stand up for this one. And well, I gotta go way back for this, but that is it. Here's the stitch pattern. So that is a Christmas gift for someone. And the next one, it's the same scarf. Same scarf. It'll go with those mittens that I shared earlier. How's that? Oh. If I didn't, there's a close-up of this one. Each of these scarves took 2 balls of the yarn that I mentioned. Oh, this yarn colorway is called Sunburst Harvest. I see I wrote it down for this one. I do like this yarn. It doesn't, I don't think it's gonna, not, pill is not the right word that I'm thinking of, but like fuzz up, and get kind of soft and wispy. I had a yarn that I made something out of. I think it was Karen's So Simply or Simply Soft yarn. Years ago, I made something out of that, and it kind of did that, and I did not like it, and I stopped wearing it. The last crochet thing is I'm doing a granny square crochet along that started, that one I think was in October as well. I heard about it from Catherine over at Stitching with the Griffin. I saw what she was making and I thought, hey, those look simple enough that, you know, I'll start in on it. And some of the squares have been kind of kicking my butt because they don't all have YouTube videos attached to them. So the square that I'm working on right now, which is the 7th square, I've really been struggling with and kind of had a mild meltdown about until my friend Sarah reached out to me and she said, well, let me know what you're working on and maybe I can help you. And I've got the squares on the ground here, so I got to pause real quick and get them situated. Honestly, I don't know which ones, what are called what order they are in, so I'm just going to share them with you. And if you're interested in knowing the names and all that, I'll have a link to the landing page for the crochet along, which is over at madamstitch.com. But here's one square. I wonder if this will help, right? Here's one square. This one I did not struggle with. Here is another square. I don't think I struggled with this one either. Sorry. Moth. Oops. This one I did well with as well. I thought the instructions were good. And most of these squares I was able to complete in an evening. Maybe if it took a little bit more stitching, it was just like a little bit into the next evening. This one I had a lot of fun with. I learned a new technique, and actually I wouldn't mind making a whole granny square blanket out of these. These were actually fun to make, I thought. And then to make this was fun as well. Easier than you'd think, and probably not in the way that you think that it would be done. And then this one, I really like. This one I struggled a little bit with at first, and I ended up ripping it out and starting over. Let's see, what did I do? Okay, I started out down here, and if you know crochet, sometimes the pattern will say to start the first chain counts as the first stitch, so make the next stitch in the chain, the second from the hook. And in my brain, I was thinking that if I if I make the first real stitch in the same chain as the faux chain that you start out with. I'm sure I'm not explaining this right, and real crocheters are probably cringing. That it would be fine. And I thought it was starting out fine, and then it started slanting. And I thought, this is so weird that it's doing that. I don't understand why. And at some point, even though I was counting stitches and everything, all of a sudden I had way too many stitches. And I decided, well, I'm just going to rip it out and I'll start over again. It's not that hard. And the second go around, I decided, instead of trying to do the first double crochet in that very first one, I would skip and do it in the next chain down here, and just everything just kind of fell into place. And it's this one, if you couldn't tell, I did block it out. This is one of the first ones. It might be the third one maybe. And it's really nice. And even my husband commented on it and said that was a really nice pattern. I could see making a whole blanket out of this as well. Maybe broken up into blocks of different colors, or maybe just going all the way across, although that might get a little tedious. But yeah, I like this one too. And then I got into my first, I guess, one that I thought maybe was above my pay grade. It is a mosaic crochet. If I remember, I'll put a picture so you know what I'm talking about. I started out with it. That one had a video, and I just did not understand what she was doing in the video. It made no sense to me. And I decided I probably should study mosaic crochet mosaic a little bit more, and then maybe what she was doing would make sense. But also, to be fair, in part of the video, like what she was doing went out of frame. And I think for me, that was maybe a key piece. And since I couldn't see that really clearly, it just kind of lost me. So I decided, rather than try to fumble through that one, I just made a regular old granny square with 12 rows of granny square stitch, I think it's called, but in 2 different colors. So that's what it looks like. That's what mine looks like. And after I did that, I thought, oh, that's cool. And it's kind of like an X in the middle. I decided if I came across another one that I really couldn't understand, I would just do something that I knew already, but different than this. So I wasn't doing the same thing over again. I am on square 7, and like I said, that one gave me fits. I read through the pattern. I tried working it through. My brain did not like what I was seeing in the instructions, I'm guessing, because something made absolutely no sense to me. Even though Catherine over at Stitching with the Griffin said it was a well-written pattern, and I trust what she said because she has been crocheting a lot longer than I have. But this one part, it was awkward with how it was written. My friend Sarah said, let me look at it and see if I can help you. She said she struggled with it actually a little bit because the one part of how it was written, there was italics, parentheses. It was a little bit of a mess because I was like, where did this half double crochet come from? There's no half double crochet. Well, once she explained it to me, it made sense. Well, I mean, the black will probably turn out fine despite how I'm muddling through it, and I've still got it caught on the yarn, so I can't really just throw it up and show. It'll be beautiful when it's done, but I'm not feeling a whole lot of love for it right now. A lot of color changes. And what's funny is a few years back, I made a big crochet blanket for my sister-in-law. And actually, this is one of the colors for that blanket. And it did a lot of this, where it switched the colors and dropped down to another row to make stuff like that. But there was a video, and you know, it was just enough to show what the stitch looked like and what to do and everything. And I could do that, even though I kind of gave up on looking at the pattern on that one, but that's a whole other story. But this one I'm struggling through. I think I'm on row 15 out of row 24 rows or 25 rows, and I just had to stop and take a break on this one. And I think actually that's when I started working on the hat. So that is it. As I said, a lot of stuff that I didn't realize until I sat down and started writing up a list and seeing just how much that I had done, especially the crochet. So, life update. It's kind of a weird time of year. It's not that like I'm overly busy with one thing or the other. Work's been busy, but not so much more busy than usual, I think. Again, I wrote this I wrote this a while ago. I said getting ready for a work event on the 24th. Well, that was like, 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know, but that was a while. So that little part was extra, but nothing that I couldn't handle. Getting ready for winter at the house. I finished ripping out the garden, getting the chicken coop ready for winter, getting the run ready for winter. I decided to put a tarp over the run so like rain and snow don't creep down, but I'm not quite done with it yet. I still have to wrap the one side so the snow doesn't blow in when we do get snow, which we did get snow, but it's gone already. It didn't last very long. The temperatures, it's almost 60 today, right now, which I've got windows open to warm it up in here, so I didn't have to make a fire in the wood stove, because I thought it'd be a little silly to make a fire when I'm out here for like an hour and a half tops. What else? Hunting, I'm been waiting for daytime bucks to show up on the game cam, so hunting has been slow to none, if you will. House projects we've been doing around the house, organizing, purging, some stuff that, was overdue, and we both had the energy and the mindset to do it, so we decided, well, let's do it. We don't have anything else going on. But I did a little bit more tidying up out here, although you can't tell. I tried tidying up the craft room, but I still have so much stuff in there that you can't really tell either. Physically, I'm feeling pretty good. My health issues seem to be on like light at the end of the tunnel, so I'm very happy about that. I got my ticket for the Jingle Ball. It will be my first time going to the Jingle Ball. I'm excited. I don't know how much I'll be participating in it. I'm saving my pennies for shopping. Not well, I guess we'll see what things look like when I log on. There's one item I have in mind that I want to get. I did not sign up for any classes, and I keep going back and forth on whether I should or shouldn't, but honestly, nothing's really calling to me. But I am excited to see what will be available for purchase for the patterns. At the beginning of October, I don't want to say that I have haul necessarily, because I don't have anything physical to show, but I fell down pretty hard at the Mud Puppy Stitchery Etsy shop, to the point where she contacted me and said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine." and so I have collected almost all of her patterns now, and oh, I don't remember if I said the last one, but Mud Puppy now has a Patreon. A link will be down in the show notes. And I guess that is about it. Yeah, everything else that's on my list is basically like my YouTube channel circle that is like blog circle. Remember when those were a thing? But with YouTube channels. So I'll have down there Patty Penn over at Stitching with My Kitties, Linda and Susie over at Yarn Over with Us, which finally they like made it, I guess you could say. The algorithm gods were kind to them, and it feels like they went from like 200 to almost 2,000 in like a few weeks. But with my sense of timing right now, it's probably not been, it's been a little bit longer than that. But I'm excited for them, that because it's a great channel. I've got Alison over at Miss AZ Family Zoo Stitches, which she was the designer for the Rescue is my favorite breed. Kenzie over at My Puppy Stitchery, Kat Stitching with the Griffin. The other people that I mentioned in the video will be down here. Oh, and yeah, I've got Jessica over at Lumi Stitch. She has an Etsy shop. Kathy, Crafty Cat Stitcher. Bethany over at Bethany Bird Stitcher. She's a model stitcher for Kenzie over at My Puppy Stitchery. So she's doing all the charts, and she's doing a beautiful job with them, and she dyes her own fabric, and she's got a good eye for color. Other people that I've added onto that as well will be, well, let's see, I kind of mixed them all together, so I don't know if I had them on here already or not, but Denise over at Black Ribbon Stitch Studio, Mare over at Sin City Cross Stitcher, Kagi over at the High Fiber Diet. She's a knitter and a crocheter and a yarn spinner. And I don't want to say like we go way back, but we've been in the knitting community for probably since like way back at the beginning, it feels like. Heather, the Mirror Image Stitcher, Ashley and Jeanne over at We Stitch and Know Things, and I almost forgot. I can't believe I almost forgot. Do you see that pretty girl there? Last video, I said that I was celebrating my floss tube craft anniversary. Now, what do I say? It was 7 years of posting videos online for this, and I wanted to celebrate it, and I did with Whip Parade, and I also decided I wanted to give away this girl. And this girl can be your girl if you left a comment on my previous floss tube. And I think I did, I thought I left myself a note showing how to do the YouTube random comment picker, but I don't see the notes for it. Okay. Let's see. I've got my computer right here, and hopefully I've got a good Wi-Fi connection. Let's see. Random YouTube comment picker. What's going on here? I'll either cut that out or speed it all up. Let's see. How do I do this? Okay, so I said for the giveaway, must be 18, a subscriber, leave a comment. I did not say anything about US only because I forgot, to be honest. So I'm not going to exclude anyone, although I think only one person that I know of who commented is not in the US. So yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see if I can pick you up and no. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay, so it is Carol McCarrick, 5477. Congratulations! Let's see, did we get that there? Okay, so I will put that on the screen down there too, the name of the winner, and probably take a picture too, so I can have that at the end. But Carol, contact me and send me your address, and I will box this pretty lady up and drop her in the mail for you. Congratulations. My email address will be in the show notes. It'll be right here. It's amnaconstudio@gmail.com. Wow. That feels kind of, I don't know, that's my first giveaway. Oh. Okay, I guess I've rambled long enough. The chickens are running around out there. It's been long enough that I can't remember what I usually say at the end. If you like what you see, please leave a comment. If you're not already, please subscribe. Hit the notification bell, which I've learned makes a huge difference in YouTube notifying you that I posted a new video. Somebody said, like, it does make a big deal. And I've noticed that some of the channels that I follow, I haven't got notifications that they posted a new video. Like, I don't know, I'm making the effort to click the bell for all of them that I subscribe to now. So, stay safe. Enjoy the weather if you have nice weather. If not, I hope you're warm with something warm and a project to work on. And, oh, because I'm hearing the chickens, that reminded me, I made a video the other day, and I thought it would be really cute. I made the point of using the microphone to record them because I had the camera out further away so you could see what they were doing. And the microphone did not pick up like I thought it would. It heard me talking just fine. Everything else not so much. So I'm going to include that video at the end of this video. But I think I'm just, rather than you hearing me talk, I'll just put music over it. But it was the chickens' first time experiencing snow because they're, well, with the exception of the one, they're all babies, so this is their first winter, and they didn't know what to make out of it. So All right, I'm gone for now, for real this time. Until next time, bye.